I'm joined now by Paul O'Brien, the Chief Executive of the Association for Public Service Excellence, Paul Naylor of Eastleigh Borough Council and Paul Smith of Polling Company Servation. Thank you all for joining me and obviously for keeping the name simple, which is a great help. Paul, let's start with austerity measures. Every year it's the same, and how frontline services are suffering because of these austerity measures. Is this just something we've got to accept and live with?
Well, Alice, whilst we're now facing cuts that are the worst in almost 70 years to local government budgets, I don't think the public would thank us for a permanent austerity situation where services are continuously being cut. So really, local authorities are working very, very hard to be entrepreneurial in a municipal way, to try and come up with solutions to keep those services that the public really care about refuse, about roads, about parks, about housing. Local councils are doing what they can to not only hold those things together but tackle some of the big public policy issues that sit round about these things, because it really is about the quality of life of the residents at a local area.
Yeah, it's essential. Paul, at Eastleigh Borough Council, you head up those services which are really important to us and delivered at neighbourhood level. How is it being in a management position at such austere times?
It's both challenging and very difficult. Yeah. The way we've approached it in Eastleigh is through our staff engagement and empowering our staff to deliver services locally. We worked out a while ago that 75% of our staff actually live in the borough. So they have a vested interest to make sure the services we're providing is actually what the public want, because they are part of the public. The way we've engaged with those staff is by encouraging them to take an active role in telling us what could be delivered better, how we can do that moving forward, and really how we can sustain those important services for people. That's improved our staff satisfaction. It's improved the public satisfaction, and actually our staff attendance and all of those things, sickness levels, are extremely low because people take that local pride and don't want to be off work because they're there delivering on the ground. They're also able to record information that they see happening on a day-to-day basis. So we know about it before anybody else knows that something needs doing. They see it, they deal with it, and it's done. They record that, they send us that information, and then we can actually have some intelligence which we can use to make sure we don't let things deteriorate in the future.
That's incredibly positive, surprisingly positive, some might say. Paul, what's the reality? Obviously, tackling cuts through innovation is a very attractive proposition, but you're a polling company. What do the public really think about local neighbourhood services?
Well, actually, the public actually have a high degree of satisfaction with local neighbourhood services provided by local councils, particularly the areas that Paul O'Brien talked about before, things like parks, waste services, street lighting. Council delivery of those services is always very much in a net positive. What that actually comes from is that the public trust local councils far more than either government or private companies. In terms of making decisions for their local area, local councillors and councils are trusted 5 times higher than MPs or central government. When you're talking about delivering local services, council delivered services are trusted 6 times higher than our private companies. And again, when it comes to making decisions about delivering services, the government delivering services is 5 times less popular than, say, the local authority. So the real issue here is that I think the public trust the local council to be more responsive and more accountable, and therefore that's why there's still a very strong positive satisfaction to those services in the local neighbourhood.
So going forward to the next year, how can APSE prioritise to support councils to be greener, cleaner, smarter?
Well, Alice, we're working on an idea round about a new municipalism. And that new municipalism's built around about local authorities being more entrepreneurial, more innovative, and coming up with ideas around about housing, around about finance, around about public realm. Because as we've just heard, it's totally important that the quality of people's life doesn't deteriorate, and in order for that deterioration not to happen, councils have got to be at the heart of delivering services for people in local areas.
And do the polls bear out that this is the future?
Well, what the public want is they want to see more of their tax money spent in their local neighbourhood. When we ask the question, do you want more of your tax pounds spent in your local area, 63% of people want them. And actually, when you ask who do you want to do that, spend that money with, it's 79% it's with the local council, because they're trusted to deliver the services in the local area that people want for their local neighbourhood.
What a lovely note to end on. You are trusted. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me.
Thanks, Alice.